Oh, we should have pressed record about 5 minutes ago because we just went down a nipple path.
Yet another nipple path. We love to talk about nipples.
Okay, this time we had photos taken when we were in Florida. And so we're going through them, liking the ones that we're going to have, edited because hello. And I had to point out to Jade that in her solo pics, her nips be out on full display. Not out, they're covered, but out as in high beams.
Perky.
But there is a thing which I was just explaining to them that is now like a pasty that includes a nipple. So like
it's a fake nipple pasty,
nipple, but you show off the nipple.
A fake hard nipple pasty.
Yeah,
this is like blowing my mind.
Same.
My mind is blown.
I will send you some and have Eric slip them in your stocking.
I clearly don't need them.
Like, I don't know, maybe you want a different shade or a different size. It's kind of like an accessory for your nipple.
Okay, so for reals though, the point of a hard nipple pasty is so that you can wear a bra that lifts and shapes your boobs and yet make it seem as if they are not being lifted or shaped. And so your nipples out, and that means you don't have a bra on usually. So it's like saying, look at how perfect my breast is, when it's actually being shaped and lifted by a bra.
I didn't put that much thought into it.
Why else would you have it?
I don't know. Maybe if you don't
it's like an
nipple.
accessory. It's like wearing earrings or a necklace.
Yeah, exactly. Look at my nipple.
Then why wouldn't you just not wear a bra?
I don't know. Maybe you're not happy with what you've been given for a nipple perspective. Maybe they're too big. Maybe they're too small. Maybe the areolas are too dark. Who knows?
Here's, listeners, I just need to share with you the moment that I knew we needed to press record. Cass says to Jade, see, I know my nipples.
Yeah, we were looking at a picture and I was like, it's just her nipples. And Cass knew that it was a fake nipple.
They were also off center in this particular photo, not Jade, someone else's that we were looking at. And one nipple shined, left, and the other nipple shined slightly left as well. And I'm like, that's weird. That's suspicious.
And I was not suspicious because my nipples are always out. And she was like, oh no, be suspicious with me. And I'm like, wow, you really know your nipples. And she's like, I know my nipples.
I do. It is a skill set I, have.
A full circle moment because really beginning of the season, Cass got to talk about nipples. And now as our last episode of this season, we also get to revisit nipples in a different light.
What did you talk about the first episode that I talked about?
You whipped your nipple out
to show your
lip color.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
So maybe that's part of it too. Maybe you want a different lip color and you need to change your nip color.
So one thing I've noticed as I've been re-listening, I think Kaylin notices this too. We laugh so much on this podcast, especially Kaylin and I, well, especially me, that when you're re-listening to it, it's so obnoxious as a listener to just hear me like going off like loud laughter for like 5 minutes. So I'm trying really hard, dear listeners, to like back up a little
bit. But is it obnoxious for you or is it obnoxious for the listeners? Because it's your laugh. So like, that's my question. Because I didn't even notice you were laughing.
Let us know.
The episodes.
Yeah, let us know. Give us your grievances if you have any.
We're probably not going to change though, just FYI. So.
No. It is Festivus season. So if you do have grievances to air, please give them to us.
It's what?
Festivus.
Seinfeld.
Oh, okay. I wasn't allowed to watch Seinfeld.
6 episode 20 something. I'll figure it out and it'll link in the show notes.
I've been trying to catch up on Seinfeld. Yeah, because I didn't watch it back when everyone else was.
Oh, I'm watching it for the first time like this
You too.
year. Yeah. This year was Seinfeld year. We're trying to finish up, and then next year is Schitt's Creek year. I'm slowly making my way through TV shows.
Welcome.
You must.
So
you'll want to watch Schitt's Creek multiple times.
I've never wanted to watch anything multiple times, so we'll see.
It's good.
There's very few things. The Office is one that I'll just watch and rewatch episodes of. And Schitt's Creek is another one. I can do that.
I've never seen The Office either.
Yeah.
Well,
where
do we go from nipples?
It is the last episode of our season. We have some new things coming up for season 2 that we're excited about. Should we talk about that?
I think we probably should.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
So we have a new format. Let's start there.
Yes.
Recording twice a week is a lot.
Mhm.
And recording twice a week, generally what we do from a behind the scenes perspective is record a whole bunch of episodes and kind of batch them and not keep you up to date. And then there's a gap and we just jump in because we've been continuing going in all of our endeavors. So we're going to really make this podcast, I guess, therapy.
Yeah.
For lack of better term.
Sure.
So,
and really real time it with you guys as well. I think that was
Mhm.
something, we listen to your feedback.
Mhm.
Sometimes when we like it. And and that is one thing, right, where we're kind of off in our time of when things are going live and when they're happening. And so we want to make it more real time. And I think it's more fun that way too. And it kind of, bridges the gap between us and the listeners. So
Mhm. And it
Real
really
time.
it subscribes to what the point of this, which is conversations. You get to be an insider to our private conversations, and real time is a lot more interesting. So every week we're going to record and then release and record and release. And
all I got is a vision of you deep sea fishing.
I know. Catch and release.
Exactly. We're going to record and release a podcast into the wild.
Exactly. Yep. So I think that'll be better. And then we won't feel pressured to have to record. And we'll just have more fun with it that way.
Yeah. And they'll be released on Thursday. So we're keeping up with the Thursday podcast. Tuesday podcast is, well, bye. That was so 2022. And then they're getting longer because that was the other piece of feedback that we received and we liked was, can you make your podcasts longer than 20 minutes or 25 minutes? We had some requests for 3-4 hour podcasts and we said, we ain't no Joe Rogan. So no, thank you.
There can only be one and we're just not it. And that's okay.
However, if you're listening and if you do find this podcast, I'd love to be on and talk for 3 hours, just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So
They will
40
be a little bit
minutes. Yeah. I think that's a 40-45 minutes is a good time.
If we get going, maybe an hour. If we don't get going, maybe 30 minutes. So they'll be longer than 20 minutes, but you have no idea how long they will be.
Mhm.
So what else is changing?
Guests.
Oh yeah, guests. Yeah. So we've decided we don't like people.
Not true.
That's not true.
We've loved all of our guests after dark.
Except most of them. It's like our best friends in our family. It's fine. No, so I think guests right now have been like, we've almost felt the need to like pressure, like have to find a guest, have to, have one on a certain day, have to have like a certain cadence of like how you quote do a podcast and what that looks like and trying to like subscribe to the best practices of podcasting. And what we've realized is nothing that we do is best practices of anything.
Absolutely.
So what we've realized is that like it would be great to have a guest when we feel compelled to have a guest, but not have them really have them scheduled out or have to have one.
Like the cadence and the rhythm needs to be more organic because that's how we flow.
Yes.
So whenever we feel like pressured to have it at a certain time, it doesn't work. Since we're doing our own thing, especially this episode, you want to tell us what just happened, Kaylin, or can you not talk about it?
Yeah, do you need a Zulu?
No, I can tell you guys. My golden doodle ate his breakfast and then proceeded to eat Harpo's entire breakfast and then came over here and threw up Harpo's breakfast all over the presents that are wrapped under the tree.
Oh, Kaylin.
Oh, golden doodles are assholes. I had one for a year.
So I just panic moved all the gifts to like try to not have them all be covered in his vomit. He also is the kind of dog that vomits and then just stands there and stares at it and stares at you like, you gonna clean this up? Because like I'm not doing it.
At least he doesn't eat it again.
Oh no, he won't eat it, but you can see.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
but he's so cute. He looks completely like
Trigger
look at
warning. If you don't like vomit, don't look at the YouTube channel. You probably should have before.
Kaylin, your
Yeah.
tree and your presents all look like they're from Tiffany and Co.
A little bit.
A
That
little-
was not on purpose.
Okay. I think subconsciously it stinks that bad. Are
Well,
your
this
presents
is how
gonna
we're ending
stink?
2023.
Are your presents gonna all stink?
Do you want to pause this? We could pause this.
Do you need to go clean hard?
No, I just went and got Anthony. He'll be right out to clean up.
So do watch the YouTube channel. You might
It's
see
not my
Anthony's
dog.
ass.
Anthony's dog.
You might see Anthony's ass waving around as he's crouched under the tree.
We might actually put a donate button at the end of this.
Yes. Good thing I have a really delicious coffee here. I'm just gonna keep smelling it.
Do you have Bailey's in your coffee?
I don't. I wish I would have done that.
I did. I did it.
I did.
So it's gingerbread and eggnog.
Ooh, that sounds good.
I have a big mason jar of water.
I have a smaller mason jar of water.
Anyway, this podcast is quickly getting derailed. So
Yeah.
I guess we're starting back next month, not month, a couple of days.
Next year. See you next year.
Yes, next month, next year, etc. With a new format, new content, same bullshit.
You know, we sound really airy and fruity, and I think it's because we have been working our asses off, especially this last week. We have done some hard work. And do we want to talk at all about that? Like
About vomiting, purging, soul retrieval, going into nasal cavities? Not right now.
many, many, many interviews, many talkings to many peoples.
Yeah.
I mean, any of that? Can we at least like highlight any of it? No.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Let's
think
talk
we've
about
just
it.
been
It's
getting
insane.
it's been intense and really insane, not only from our company perspective, but then also personally, we've all had a lot of things going on. And as we all know, those things all merge. The personal merges into the professional. Cass doesn't get to take off her shaman hat and put on her CEO hat or her mom hat. It's all combined into one big conglomerate. So I think, it's just important, even if we don't get into details, that you all know that we are working really hard and we are very excited about next year.
Yeah. Do we share? I feel like we could share a little bit.
Yeah. One of you guys go ahead.
I think Jade, I think about what's exciting happening for you today.
I know. Today, my daughter just landed in LA. She flew in from Australia, and I'm going to see her tonight, barring snowstorm, for the first time in 4.5 years. And I can't really process that.
I have chills when you just said that.
I know.
I'm so excited for you.
I can't even process it.
Your firstborn daughter, your baby.
My second, she's the
Or
second.
secondborn. That's right.
Yeah, I went to therapy yesterday, and I was trying to tell my therapist, and she kept saying, that's okay. Cause my mind, I want to compartmentalize everything and process everything and know where it all belongs. And she was like, some things you can't process, some things you can't know. And I was like, well, isn't that a freeing thought? You just be in the moment and in the feeling and say, I can't process this.
Yeah.
That's really freeing. So that's where I'm at. Yeah. So yeah, that's happening. Really excited about that.
So you've been prepping to have your entire family together for Christmas for the first
all
time.
of my children and Eric's family and his kids, and but it's going to be a full house. I'm very excited. I've been working really hard. Food, shopping, cleaning. We all have been working hard. So that's my update. Yeah, this is a good idea to end it. Kaylin, you go next. We'll save Cass for the big finale.
I don't have an update.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, that's. Well, I have a calm home today. Well, calm doesn't exist. I should
No.
say that. I live in a zoo with 2 dogs, 2 children, and a spouse.
All
And
boys.
all boys. Yeah.
All boys. And it's
All-
not, how many square feet is your house, love?
Just under 1,600. It's not huge.
Yeah.
Not huge.
Yeah.
So it's a zoo. And then we also had family visiting last week, an additional 4 bodies in our small home. So it was pretty wild. And on top of that, Hayden started coughing and not being able to breathe and all of that fun stuff in the middle of the evening. So
Bless you.
Bless you.
just add that on top. And there's some other stuff because again, we can't
Compartmentalize.
compartmentalize. So Cass, I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing to my family?
I'm doing what
What's
you
going
asked.
And back up, that means shaman shit has been happening.
Correct. But
yeah.
do you want to say anything about interviewing for CTO position for Aligned?
Yeah.
Yes.
So things are happening with Aligned as we've, been telling everyone. And we're in the process currently with our developer developing our MVP, which is the most exciting.
2 developers.
True. 2 developers. Because we have simultaneous development happening. So that's cool.
So cool.
But on top of that, we are we've been interviewing some amazing people for our CTO position. And so Jade got the brunt of it. And
well,
interviewed
start
a lot.
with Cass's so the way
Okay.
that Cass
The
posted,
bomb.
yes, the most bomb like job description. It was like Mary
Can we
Poppins.
link it out in our show notes? Because I
Yeah.
feel like we
Yeah, I
should.
think we can. Yeah, I think we
Yeah,
can.
we should. We totally should. So Cass just like leads with the fact that she's a shaman and that nobody thinks we can do this. And she just called it out. She was blunt and honest, and it attracted the most amazing people.
Oh, we can't link it out. We'd have to reopen it. I can read a couple lines of it if you'd like.
Yeah, read it.
It's like a poetry reading.
Yeah.
An indigenous trained shaman with a technology background has a vision to change social media and the world as we know it. She gathers up a team, casts out a vision that makes most people ask if she's lost her damn mind. Align Social is looking for the next piece to that puzzle. So we're looking for a partner to come on board, lead our technology into uncharted territory. We want someone who lives, breathes, and leads by Steve Jobs' "Here to the crazy ones" quote, and knows that people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who actually do.
So how many applicants did you have, or did we have say that?
I shut it off because we had 60 applicants in the first 12 hours. We had 180 people view it and 60 of them applied immediately. So that's a third of what viewed applied immediately.
Right. And so you shut it off.
I shut it off.
And then you combed through those, and then we decided who got screening. So I was the screener.
I muscle tested everyone and said, do we interview this person? Yes or no? And went through 60. And I think I gave you like 20 of them, 25.
Yeah. And then my job was to screen.
Yep.
And Cass was like, do it intuitively. Like, is this a good person? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ranked them, and I was not expecting in that process to just be blown away by the caliber of human being that was coming to meet with me. It was like one of the highlights of my year. And I'm not even kidding. Like, I loved that process so much.
Now, mind you guys, I don't know if any of us would say this, but Jade calls them creamy.
She did.
She's like, these are the creamiest of the best candidates. I'm like, the what?
Cass was disgusted.
I know.
She was like,
she said that kindly.
I have no problem with the word moist, but creamy of candidates. I'm like, oof.
You do have a problem with the word moist.
I actually don't.
Oh, you don't?
No,
I do. I was thinking when I said creamy of the cream rises to the top. And that is what I felt like I was dealing with, is just a lot of just a caliber of person that, and you wrote that post with guidance of spirit. I mean, not to sound too woo, but I mean, who cares? We're so woo as fuck. Like you knew, you were guided and directed when to write it, what to write, and you just did it like that.
Mm-hmm.
So then you muscle test it for every single person. So of course you get the cream, right? And so of all of those people, then Kaylin spent more time with the ones
Yes.
that we
So
went through.
yesterday was 5 hours. And they were some extensive conversations, and like seriously blown away by the experience, by the ideas, the thinkers, and also like some amazing fits for who we are and how we work, like so spot on. And I think that can only be attributed to Cass's post, and Jade, your ability to like figure out how they fit, or if they fit, or if they would, just your intuition. So spot on, so good. Exhausting. So exhausting to talk to that many people for that amount of time about.
Plus you had a baby on your boob for some of it, right?
A little bit, yeah.
You're like, you got to hang with this.
And one of them was awesome. I tried to hide it, and you can only hide so much, and all of a sudden this little hand like pops up. He was like, "Oh, baby."
At least he was paying attention to you, and he wasn't on like another screen. You're like, I just did it to test.
Yeah.
Right. So so that's been happening, and we're pretty excited about just continuing that kind of process to kind of build our team.
Yeah, we get to do it again. I just got the download that it's time to write the CFO job description and the CMO job description. So
that's exciting.
We'll be
to
build out.
I think that then it's time to kind of just at least briefly highlight. I mean, we talk ad nauseum about deaths and dying, but Cass, it's been a doozy for you. One of the biggest, most drawn out deaths, would you say, that you've had in a long time?
I don't know, because when I was kind of like piecing it together and kind of connecting in, was like multiple iterations. So it like wasn't one leading to one thing. It was like, okay, like it was like rapid up level advancement.
Yeah.
I was like, this is great. Like it was very ceremony-esque. So if you guys listened to the 2 episodes previous to this, 51 and 52, we talk about kind of how ceremony has this crest and then kind of a break, and then another crest and then kind of a break. And that was my last 2.5 weeks of puking, vomiting, changing mindset, having Diana, my daughter, the 5-year-old, do the same thing, getting amazing downloads, getting, money and clients coming through and connections that we need for all of these projects coming through quickly. But it was just like gas pedal on. So at one point I was on the toilet, like literally dying, and like getting a text message of like, I'd really like to work with you. I think it's time. I haven't talked to you in 2 years. And I'm like, of course.
And I think it's important to say, like, one could find physical reasons for all of this happening, like Hayden coughing, right? Totally. And it doesn't, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, right? Because we're mind, body, and spirit. So it's just, I think, something that I have especially learned how to do, and in large part thanks to you, Cass, is just like not ignore the spiritual piece along with the physical. It's both, right? So it's not like you ignore the body or the reasons that maybe you were getting sick, but you recognize that there's something much bigger than that going on.
Well, it was funny because during one part of my death, I was texting someone and I was like, just so you know, like, this is what I think it is. I think it's a peptide reaction. And she's like, well, do you want my medical, like, diagnosis / information, or do you want my intuitive one?
Well, and she wasn't just texting anyone. She was texting a triple board certified
I was
doctor.
just about to say, it's kind of important to say that
with a medical practice. So
Correct.
It wasn't just anyone.
Yeah.
Continue.
So I mean, at that point we just say her name. No. I was texting back and forth and like, what the fuck is going on? She asked how I was, and with like a big smiley face, and I was like, you bitch. And I was like, well, this is happening. She's like, well, my medical protocol would tell me that, you're probably having a reaction to the peptide you're using and, blah, 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 like all of the scientific medical stuff. And she's like, my intuitive side says you were going to go through this one way or another and enjoy, like, congratulations. The peptide may be doing it, but it might just be expediting what you were already doing. So I was like, well, damn it.
And when she said that, am I correct? Because it seemed like there was a surrender that came through for you after she said that. Do you think that's true? Like, it's not like you were not
going to die.
Like, yeah, but you were like, it's not that you weren't surrendered before, but you were like, oh, is it this? Is it what it's going to, you want to know because you're a human, like what's going on?
It wasn't necessarily a surrender. It was honestly more comic relief at that point.
That is a form of surrender.
This was also the second week. So the first week this happened, I was like, do I still take this peptide for the second week? And I muscle tested and got a very clear yes. And I muscle tested again and got a very clear yes. Then I walked away and muscle tested a third time and got a very clear yes. Because I need to
because Cass doesn't believe herself.
I know, I was like, I don't believe that. That seems weird. And then I asked Tom too, because like Tom was, obviously with me during these. There was a couple of days where I did not get out of bed and like literally like crawled back and forth to the toilet and like just was dying. Like I lived off miso soup for a good like 5 days last week. So like I was like, do I do it again? And like, if I do it again, like, are you going to make fun of me and hold this against me?
Yeah.
Because like this could be like, quote, self-induced, or like, should I? Like, what are your thoughts? He's like, no, he's like, you have to keep going. And I was like, okay, here we go, another injection, like, let's do it. So I'm glad I did. A lot of stuff happened in that second week, but yeah, it's been interesting.
A lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it's interesting too, because like, even for me, when I'm seeing things happen to my child, who from a human design perspective has a lot of similarities to Cass, he's a manifester. Like there's quite a few similarities between the two of them, I would say. And so I will go to her and be like, is this like, what's going on here? Like, what are you getting? And so I can see it from this like parental, position of like, okay, let's treat the symptoms. Like, let's work through this. What's the possible cause? Like, do I need to like seek medical attention for this? Or is this, going to pass on its own? And it's like Cass can like tap in and be like, oh no, it's this, like, you're good. And every single time it's exactly what she says. And the symptoms go away exactly when the thing goes away.
Yeah.
And
That he's doing or working on as a manifester. Not only are they both manifestors, but they're fire and water. And you just think about the elements, Cass, fire and water, Hayden, fire and water. What do those elements do? Like, they have to, you put a tea kettle on, right? Like, it's like, woo, like they can really explode, and they can also simmer, and they can, it's a powerful combo.
And they can chill.
Yeah. So I think all of these things kind of came through, and there was more stuff that came through, obviously, for aligned, because that works in tandem. And then there were more things that came through from like a shamanic gifting perspective of like being able to now know the systems and go into the systems of the body and like physically clear stuff at like an energetic level, without the use of any sort of plant med, psychedelic, etc. It's just it's sad as we'll do probably more of an episode in that in January, but it is just kind of the use of no psychedelics to do some psychedelic work, I think, is the best way of saying it, is kind of what came through this time.
We've known for quite a while though that you can channel plant medicine.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Like not be on the plant medicine, but actually channel it, which is kind of insane.
And when you take the plant medicine, it doesn't do to you
do it
what it does to other people.
Yeah.
So, as I have a big sad face for those who are listening to the podcast, I'm like, I want to see the pretty color mandalas and everything being beautiful. Maybe
no, you don't get that.
No, I don't get that. One day.
But you do get to channel the medicine when you don't take it. So that's pretty cool.
To be fair, I also do get colors and auras every day. So I do see that pretty color spirals most days when I turn that on. So it's just different. So
it's been a big big couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're all exhausted, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
But
need
it's cool.
I need Bailey's in my coffee, like Jade.
Mm-hmm.
The moral of this
See this
podcast.
nice smile on my face right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cass is definitely going to the store and picking up Bailey's after we're done.
I have it at the house, so I actually don't even need to go to the store. I just need to go back home.
She just needs to go home.
Exactly. So
Great. Well, it's been an adventure this first season, and I think we should say thank you to, I know that we have some really
Agreed.
regular listeners, and thank you so much for being along on the ride with us. And it took me about half the season to figure out that people were actually listening to what we were saying, and then I got a little freaked out.
it
In
took
true Jade fashion, she finally catches on.
26 episodes to figure that out. Wow.
Yes. No, I'm not kidding. I was like, oh yeah. And then I'm like, wait, how many people listen to that episode? Wait, that means
How many thousands?
there's a lot of people listening to my very private information. And then you guys are like, that's what we said we were gonna do, is talk about our private
Speaking of
information.
private information, just
Mhm.
asking, did you guys figure out a word for 2023 yet?
What was
No.
our word for 2022?
Well, for yourself, not for us. I mean, we can figure out one
No.
collectively,
Oh,
too, but
okay. I'm like,
Yeah, I
did
got
we
one
have
for
a word?
2023 aligned.
aligned. That makes sense. That fits. That was my word for 2022. It just took a whole year to get it. Fuck that word. I'm not.
I didn't have
No,
a
a
word.
personal word. I haven't thought about it yet. I
Mm-mm.
normally just kind of like comes. I'm like, oh yeah, that fits.
I was doing my vision board stuff the other day when I was dying, because that's all I could muster to do was like screenshot photos and put them in a folder. I was like, I can't do anything high brain power. And I was like, oh, I wonder what my word's going to be.
What were some of the pictures that you were screenshotting?
Yeah, tell us what your word is.
Oh, I haven't figured out my word yet.
She doesn't
Oh.
have the word. She just has some pictures.
I have
What
some
were they?
pictures. What were my pictures? I have a house in Savannah, just moving away from kind of the great state of Maine. I feel like my job here is almost done, if you will. There was a trip for Huna to Hawaii. There was a bank account a checking account that had $8 million in it. So that was nice. My checking account does not have $8 million in it right now. I don't know. There was just other stuff too, like just different. Like I want a garden, and I was like, well, if we're moving, I'm not going to start a garden here. There's potentially another dog. So yeah, it was just other like
Another dog.
Yeah, we want a dog that can hike with us. Brioche goes like a quarter of a mile and is dead. So
She's got short legs.
We've talked about a Bernese Mountain Dog for Tom, because Tom has some hikes and stuff that he wants to do next year. And I was like, well, can you please bring like something with you that's not just you in the wilderness? So Bernese Mountain Dogs are like the #1 hiking and family dogs. So I was like, maybe we'll get plus I think they would be really cute with a Frenchie next to them.
So cute.
Oh.
You have like this big bear brown looking dog and this little black squished face with big ears. Like,
I love that you're like thinking of the aesthetics of it.
oh, of course I am. It's
Of course
like,
she
yes,
is.
like the
That is so
Cass.
Cass. Oh, she's so bougie in the best of ways. I love going to her house. I'm like, can I just use your soaps and wear your sweaters and stand in your
What's really funny, final note on this podcast, Jade is like, if I have a lot of money, I don't think I'm going to just really change a lot. Like, I'm going to stay exactly as is. I'm going to keep all my old stuff. And then she comes to my house. She's like, so I need this mattress cover. I need this shampoo. I need this sweater.
I'm like, why is
I
your
need this
bed-
scent for my
why
home.
is your bed so comfortable and warm? And why does your house smell good? You're like, this is what buys this, and this is what and I'm like, I need all of that stuff.
And I need a sauna.
All of
Yes.
Yep. All of it's
Yeah.
like super eco-friendly, like made
Yes.
fair trade,
Yes.
non-toxic.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
But
Like, you
bougie as
get
fuck.
stuff just to get stuff. You do it for a very specific reason, but it's the highest quality and the most like sustainable versions. And I'm like, where have I been all my life? I don't even know.
So Jade went home with a shopping list, and now when Jade has money, she isn't going to, in fact, change out some of her things.
I am. I'm getting cashmere pants, you guys. For
Good,
sure.
you should.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's happening.
Congratulations. We'll have a multi-billion-dollar company and Jade will have spent $110.
Cashmere pants are more expensive than that.
The sweater you wore was $160, so
Yeah, well, pants are more. You should look them up.
Apparently Jade has been.
I have been.
I do not need cashmere pants. That's where I draw the line.
It's
I
not
like-
time yet.
So.
I feel like they would just not look good. Like my butt's too big.
I don't know. I'll stick with my aligned, which was so funny. The aligned leggings we were talking about. Tom's like, have you always worn those? I was like, yeah, for the past like 4 years. He's like, that's funny.
You have aligned
That's
leggings.
suspicious.
Aligned
Yeah,
leggings. Yeah, there's my
from
favorite one's
Lululemon. It's the
Lululemon.
aligned pant.
You have
Oh,
a pair,
yes.
you have a pair too. We
You
got
have, I have a line.
Dumb
I
dumb.
do have a line Lululemon. You guys made me buy them, and I'm like, I will never spend $100 on pants, yoga pants, and that's all I wear. And now they're my favorite. And I bought every one of my girls a pair of aligned Lululemon for Christmas.
Good.
I'm like, they should have them too.
They're the best.
Mm-hmm.
They are the best. I need two new pairs.
Yeah, I need a new pair too. But anywho, so thank you. That was our like 10-minute thank you that like digressed onto many other topics. But thank you for listening. And
Yes.
I feel like I've grown and stretched and changed a lot just in the process of talking with you two in this way. For whatever reason, like you say, Cass, it's a therapy session. And it's been really, really great.
Yeah. Thank you for being along for 50 some odd episodes at this point and sticking
all of
with
the
us
rides.
even through the crazy and the maybe not so exciting episodes and the weird episodes. We appreciate you guys and we're excited to keep growing together. And yeah.
What's funny is when you say
Oh.
crazy and weird episodes, I was like, oh, so like all 53 of them. Okay, cool.
True.
Some of them are a little, not quite as crazy, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's been fun.
We get to do it again.
This is just the beginning.
I think this is where we're ending it.